Let me say, for the last 5 years, I work out at Bruno Canzani. I was running around and I saw someone that looked like me and I thought, oh, hi there. And she was always out there walking and I was out there trying to look like I'm running. And she was always walking, always walking. Well, when it came time to ask for another speaker, somebody said, Jacqueline D. Brown. I said, well, how is she? They said, ooh, she's good. I heard her speak. Then I had to ask my girl, Christy Wong, what is Jacqueline D. Brown like? Oh, she's good. Her resume reads longer than my arm. And then I called her and she said, I actually know who you are. We met about 5 years ago. So I said, oh, cool. So then 2 days ago, I'm walking and she says, Faith. And there she was once again, Jacqueline D. Brown. She is going to kick us off and be our next speaker. Make some noise for Jacqueline D. Brown.
Should be good.
Hello, Livermore! Oh, it's so wonderful to be out here tonight to celebrate with you and to honor the legendary Congressman John Lewis. My husband and I have lived in Livermore for the last 10 years, and we absolutely love it. The people, the restaurants, the businesses, and we do everything that we can to support our city and our community here in Livermore. I want to start out with a quote. Not everyone is meant to raise a picket sign, yet each of us can choose a path of impact. Rearing your children with affection and warmth is a form of activism. Honoring your word impeccably is a way to raise your voice. Performing your job with excellence, with your chin high and your standards higher, is the most powerful protest march you can do. Sowing into the lives of our young children is a worthy cascade. That is what it means to live in this world and to create a little more light than we found it. This quote is from the legendary actress Cicely Tyson in her memoirs, Just As I Am. What Cicely Tyson is talking about is using your platform to have impact. And that's what I want to share with you tonight. Each of us has a platform, and each of us has a responsibility to use that platform to make an impact not only on ourselves, our children, but also our community. So what is an impact? What is a platform? A platform is anywhere where you show up and you raise your voice. It's anywhere where you make a commitment to advocate for change and advancement of all people. It's anywhere where you personally invite others to do the same. Impact is all about influence. How do you influence other people to come along? Not with anger, not with violence, but with care, with kindness, and with humility. I heard a quote from John C. Maxwell that said, even the most introverted person will impact at least 10,000 people in their lifetimes just by having influence. That means that every single day, each of us influences someone and someone influences us. And it's our responsibility to keep that going. I'll tell you a little bit about me. I was raised in Washington, D.C., in the inner city, in the hood, in the projects. Raised by a single mom, 7 children, and we were on welfare. I didn't know what that meant at the time because everybody around me was in the same condition. Except when I went to school, I was bullied by other girls for being lighter skinned. And I thought to myself, but we're all the same here, aren't we? We all live in the same neighborhood. We all ride the same bus. Most of us have all the same friends. But that's not how it works all the time. Sometimes there's dissension between us because we don't take a deeper look at the individuals that are around us. We look at what we see on the outside, but we don't go deeper to really understand the core of a person. Fast forward several years later, I left Washington, D.C., came to California when I was just 18 years old because I thought California was the place that I was going to make a difference. I worked my way through education and getting my degrees, and I started my career in corporate America. And I realized in corporate America there was two roads I could take: the assimilation role or create some good trouble role. So I did a little bit of both. Myself and several other colleagues 10 years ago, out of a need for connection and belonging and a sense of representation that we were not seeing among our peers, we created the first employee resource group for Black professionals at this company. At the time, we didn't know what we were doing. There was no roadmap, there was no blueprint. We just knew that there was representation that needed to be put in front of management. We needed them to see our value, and we needed them to see that they needed to hire more people that looked like us. And so from there, we created this employee resource group. That spun off 11 other resource groups: Latinx, Pride, Asian Pacific Americans, women and women of color, and many, many more. You never know the platform that you have until you use that platform to create an impact. The second opportunity I got to realize my platform was I was in a position of hiring individuals to work at the company that I worked for. And as a hiring manager, I again looked around to see that it was lacking diversity, not just in ethnicity, but diversity in perspective, diversity in skills, all kinds of things. So because I had this platform of being able to hire, I became very intentional about hiring for diversity, hiring for difference. I wanted to make sure that my team represented a piece of the organization that was not currently represented. And I wanted to make sure that we had as many of those differences represented in my team as possible. I've hired over 300 or so individuals into this company, from college graduates to senior professionals. And it is my pride and joy to be able to look around and see some of them thriving, but they are people of color, they are women of color, and I am proud to be able to say I had an impact on making that happen. If you want to understand a little bit more about what it means to have an impact, it's not grandiose. It doesn't have to always be big. Impact can be you're coaching the soccer team that not only teaches skills, but also instills confidence and teamwork in young girls and boys. Impact is the educator who has a vision and is able to see the potential in young adults before they can see that potential in themselves. Impact is sending a note to a neighbor that just moved into the neighborhood and inviting them to the community. Impact is giving someone else permission to be their true selves because they saw you being your true self. That is what impact is all about. And as we think about impact in making good trouble, impact in changing the world and advancing the rights of all people, it's important for us to understand, what is your impact? How do you want to influence? Who do you want to influence, and who is influencing you? I'm inspired by the unwavering spirit and enduring wisdom of John Lewis and what he stood for and what he represented. And as I close out today, I want to leave you with this. Let us use our platforms wisely, whether it's advocating, volunteering, or engaging in a respectful conversation, even if you don't agree with each other. Let's choose to leverage our influence for the greater good, ensuring that every voice is invited, valued, and embraced. Let's choose to make an impact, intentional, focusing on what truly matters. Let's make some good, necessary trouble, not for ourselves, but for our neighbors, for our community, and most importantly, for our children. Thank you.
Who brings 30 years of corporate leadership experience to her work as a coach, consultant, and transformational leadership strategist. So if you want to hire Jacqueline, I think she might be available. She's the co-founder of Brown Development, Inc. She's also the co-creator of CEO of You, as she said. And Jacqueline, I hate to ask you to come back, but Jacqueline also is a published author. So I want you to be able to get her book. Jacqueline, please come.
Thank you, Faith. I just published a book. It's called Be the CEO of You. And it really is my journey to be the CEO of you. You can find it on Amazon. You can also find it on Barnes & Noble. The book is really about my journey to inner strength and developing the inner leader within me. And the reason that I thought that that was important is because you cannot lead others unless you are a good leader for yourself. That means taking responsibility for your actions, taking responsibility for your wellness, taking responsibility for the vision and the goals that you have for yourself. So I wrote this book and it's been published. I've been getting really good reviews on it, but I've also created a leadership development program because there is a need now for me to share my experience with other leaders and help them to develop their inner leadership so that they can be great leaders for others.